Hey guys, I'm Oliver White of Ground Based Space, and it's World Space Week. What is World Space Week, I hear you ask? Well, World Space Week is just that. It's a week-long celebration of space, celebrated around the world, with a whole host of activities and events. Usually, there's a lot more going on physically and in person. I think there might be a few talks and things happening this week with social distancing in place, but obviously, for the most part, things are online. If you just head to www.worldspaceweek.org, you can find all the events and everything else that's happening there. And it gives you the opportunity to join in talks and other Zoom calls and things that are happening all around the world. All about space. Every year, World Space Week has a different theme, and this year is Satellites Improve Life. So I've put together this fairly quick video of different ways that satellites do improve life, and ways that you might take for granted, to be honest. And we'll have a tiny look at the history of satellites. So here are 5 things that satellites help us do every single day. Live TV. We all like watching TV every now and then, and some of us like to watch it live. Normally for sports, like your football, American football, and this is all possible because of satellites. You have the cameras and equipment sending signals to a satellite up in space that is then sending that signal back to your TV. That's a very basic way of describing it, but I'm trying to keep this basic and hopefully something that the kids can understand. On to number 2. Farming. Farmers use images from satellites to help determine the best times to both harvest and irrigate their fields. So that wheat grain in your cereal has probably been watched by a satellite, which helps tell the farmer when it's ready. It's crazy when you begin to realise how much we rely on satellites for even small things like this. Card transactions. Have you ever wondered how when you pay with your bank card, how the money goes from your bank to the shop that you're in? Me neither. But when you do use your card, a satellite link is established between the business and your bank, and the money is transferred that way. So for you coffee lovers, space is helping you get your fix every day. The weather forecast. How often do you check the weather on your phone? If it's like me, you check it quite often. The data used to tell you the weather all comes from satellites. There are a large number of satellites in space collecting data on temperature, precipitation, the movement of clouds, how strong the wind is, the direction of the wind. All of this comes from satellites monitoring the Earth. Satellite navigation. How often do you use a sat-nav, either in your car or maybe you use the live map on your phone, which is essentially a sat-nav? The data that tracks your location and shows you where to go is all done through a satellite. Satellites in orbit mapping out the route for you and showing you the best way to go from what they can see from up in space. It's really incredible when you think about it. Those are just 5 ways we use satellites every day. There are so many more. I've tried to explain it all in a way that everyone can understand. I don't want this to be too technical, so hopefully this is a video that everyone can learn something from. So let's look at a little history of satellites, starting with, what is a satellite? A satellite is an object that circles or orbits a larger object. There are 2 kinds of satellite: a natural satellite, like the moon, or an artificial satellite, like the ones we launch into orbit. Fun fact, did you know the International Space Station is the largest man-made satellite orbiting Earth? Our solar system contains many natural satellites. For example, most planets in our solar system have a moon, or a planet like Saturn has at least 53 natural satellites that we know of. Artificial satellites, however, did not start appearing in orbit until October 4th, 1957, when the Russians successfully launched Sputnik 1 into orbit. Sputnik 1 was a spherical space probe about the size of a beach ball. From Sputnik 1 in 1957 to the thousands of satellites now in orbit in 2020, we have seen a lot of changes in the way we use satellites. We even send satellites to orbit other planets. For example, earlier this year, the United Arab Emirates Space Agency launched the HOPE Mars mission, which will see the HOPE probe left in orbit around Mars. And American aerospace company Rocket Lab are planning their own mission to Venus, which will see them leave a satellite in orbit around Venus. Satellites are incredibly versatile, and there are many different types. And it's amazing to see how these affect the way we live every single day. So I hope this has at least helped you learn the basics of satellites. This video's gone a little later into World Space Week than I wanted to. I was hoping to release it at the start of the week, but I've just got a bit held up and it's going to be later in the week. So I hope that everyone's enjoyed World Space Week so far, and I hope you enjoy what's left of it. If you haven't already, I really recommend checking out worldspaceweek.org and seeing what activities you might be interested in. Have a look at different space agencies and companies as well. A lot of them are putting things out for World Space Week. Companies like Scottish space firm Skyrora are posting things on their Facebook page with fun little activities for children and other people to get involved with. And before I go, make sure you check out our friends at the Space Store at www.spacestore.co. They're having a 10% off everything sale for World Space Week. All you have to do is put what you want in the cart, and when you get to the checkout, use code WSW20. That will get you 10% off at www.spacestore.co. They've also posted a satellite section on their website where you can find a load of facts about satellites. And that's been it for this video. Like I said, I really hope this has been an enjoyable one, and I hope you've learned something along the way. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for taking part in World Space Week. I've been Oliver White of Ground-Based Space, and remember, keep looking up at the stars, because who knows, one day we might just meet each other up there. Take care, guys.